Just as Joe Leaphorn, Zahn McClarnon, and Jim Chi, Kiowa Gordon, made some progress in their case in Dark Wind Season 3, Episode 4, they also experienced several major setbacks. Leaphorn and Chi finally managed to connect their case to Bernadette Manuelito's, Jessica Matt 10, investigation into Tom Spencer, Bruce Greenwood, but that didn't exactly crack it open. While the strange farmers are almost certainly involved in Ernesto Cater's death, the cast of Dark Wind Season 3 has a lot more work to do before justice is served. Along with that major development, there were also some major problems. For instance, FBI Special Agent Sylvia Washington, Jenna Elfman, is closer than ever to connecting Leaphorn to BJ Vine's murder. Likewise, another barrier to Chi and Bernadette's romantic relationship cropped up in Dark Wind Season 3, Episode 4, and Emma, Deanna Allison, and Joe are having more trouble than ever before. The biggest, and most shocking, problem in the new episode, however, is that Leaphorn and Chi's star witness, Halsey, Phil Burke, was mysteriously murdered in his holding cell. How Halsey and the farmers connect to Tom Spencer in Dark Wind Season 3 explained. Halsey's farm is owned by the same parent company of Spencer's oil business. Suzanne, Casimir Gillette, looking uneasy in front of a group of farmers in Dark Wind Season 3, Episode 3. After the ending of Dark Wind Season 3, Episode 3, Leaphorn and Chi managed to figure out how the strange farmers fit into the larger mystery of the show. Suzanne, Casimir Gillette, Halsey, Phil Burke, and the rest of the farmers worked on land that was owned by a company named AGS Industries. The very same AGS Industries also owns Tom Spencer's, Bruce Greenwood, company, Spencer Oil. It's circumstantial evidence at best, but the fact that Chi found cocaine at the farm means there's at least a small connection between Tom Spencer and drug trafficking. Halsey also tried to cop a deal with Leaphorn and Sarah, a Martinez, in which he would have implicated Spencer in all manner of drug-related crimes. With Halsey out of the picture, Chi and Bernadette are going to have to track down their only remaining lead, the Sol de Oro refinery in Juarez, Mexico. That means that Bernadette will have to go into a foreign country where she doesn't have legal powers, and where Budge de Boca, Raul Max Trujillo, has the most power. It'll be dangerous, but if there's anything that can prove Spencer is involved in either human or drug trafficking, it'll be there. Why didn't Sylvia Washington ask Emma about Joe's alibi for BJ Vine's murder? Washington had Leaphorn dead to rights but didn't follow up on his iffy alibi. Special Agent Sylvia Washington, Jenna Elfman, holding a pair of sunglasses in Dark Wind Season 3, Episode 3. FBI Special Agent Sylvia Washington, Jenna Elfman, has been very close to solving the murder of BJ Vines and putting Leaphorn in prison all season long, but she seemingly missed a huge opportunity in Dark Wind Season 3, Episode 4. Washington discovered that the car that dropped Vines in the desert was a GMC, and she quickly deduced that only one of her suspects owned a GMC, Joe Leaphorn. Washington basically had Leaphorn dead to rights. All she had to do was have Emma give her a different alibi for Joe, and she would have solved her case, but Washington didn't interview Emma that night. Instead, she let Joe go home to his wife and develop a fake alibi with her, and Washington seemingly missed a golden opportunity to arrest Leaphorn. Washington may have let Leaphorn off the hook because she either wanted to continue putting pressure on Joe to make him outright confess, or she felt confident that she could get him some other way. An outright confession or more evidence would be better than a fake alibi and a motive, and Washington may want to make sure Leaphorn can't get away with Vine's murder. Why Bernadette went to Ivan's house after Chi asked her to come home? Bernadette was trying to prove that she could start a new life and had moved on from Chi. Following up on the picture he found on the farmer's land, Chi made a 6-hour drive down to New Mexico to warn Bernadette and learn what she knew about Tom Spencer. Afterwards, the two went to a bar together, and Chi met Ivan Munoz, Alex Meraz, Bernadette's new romance in Dark Wind Season 3. Later that night, Chi told Bernadette that he wanted her to come home to the Navajo Nation, and that he wanted to rekindle their romance. Chi's gesture didn't come off the way he intended, however, and he ended up heading home in the middle of the night. The most confusing development in Bernadette and Chi's relationship, however, is the fact that Bernadette went to Ivan's house in the middle of the night. Chi had told her that she couldn't build a life in New Mexico, and he said that he didn't believe that Bernadette had moved on from their relationship. By sleeping with Ivan, Bernadette was proving to herself that she could build a new life, and that she wasn't still hung up on her lost love with Chi. Additionally, Bernadette was clearly attracted to Ivan, so Chi's late-night confessions may have just given her a reason to double down on her new relationship. How Emma and Joe's falling out is getting worse in Dark Wind Season 3. Emma can't handle the weight of Joe's sins, but he keeps piling it on and making her lie for him. Emma Leaphorn learned that Joe was responsible for BJ Vine's death last week, but that was only the start of their marital troubles. Emma asked Joe to explain to her everything he did to Vines, and once he was done, She said he was responsible and that she didn't think she could live with his sins. To make matters worse, Joe then told Emma that he needed her to lie to Sylvia Washington and give him an alibi. This is the roughest patch Emma and Joe have ever gone through in Dark Winds, and they need to do something to recover quickly. Halsey was killed in his prison cell, possible murderers explained. Halsey's throat was sliced by either Budge DeBocca or the Yietzer. Casimir Gillette and Phil Burke as Suzanne and Halsey in Dark Wind Season 3. Dark Wind Season 3, Episode 4 saved its biggest twist for the very end of the episode. Halsey was in the Navajo police's holding cell waiting for Gordo Sarah to come back with a deal before he would say how the farmers were connected to Tom Spencer. When Leaphorn came back for the night, the power went out, and by the time he came back inside, Halsey's throat had been slashed by an unknown assailant. There's no way to know for sure who killed Halsey yet, but there are two main suspects, Budge DeBocca and the Yietzer. The build-up to Halsey's murder was rather spooky and almost supernatural, with coyotes howling and Leaphorn seeing the lights flicker, which somewhat indicates that the Yietzer, or whoever is using bad medicine to summon it, killed Halsey. However, it seems more likely that Budge is responsible for Halsey's murder than the